Hello, my name's Lesley Atherton, and this is a short story called School Fund. So how much are we talking about? 50, perhaps 60? Oh, not so bad then. 1,000, 50 or 60,000. Ah, really? Mrs. Taylor's voice rose in shock, then died away as she, my deputy head, and Mr. Tomlinson, the head of the upper school, moved from the outer office into a more distant side office. The door shut. So they knew. It was inevitable. To be honest, I couldn't believe I hadn't already been found out. It's a big school, though, and it's surprising how easily it can be done if you put your mind to it. I did. Put my mind to it, I mean. Damn, though. Damn. That was the last thing I wanted, to have come so far and to be nearly there, yet to be discovered at this point, and at this time, was almost worse than never having tried. Such a cliché. A headmistress with a guilty secret. But that's me. It's as simple as that, and I'm scared my guilty secret won't remain a secret for much longer. That's why I'm here. I need to get it all down on the dictaphone just in case anything happens, in case anyone works it all out, and I'm left without the ability to speak for myself. Celia will find this tape. Hi, Celia. And type it out, no doubt struggling with growing confusion, then with some clarity. She'll go through all the stages: shock, anger, betrayal, grief, disbelief. But I did it, Celia. I did. And I need to explain, to tell you why. You and everyone else. You see, I'm not trying to make excuses or get you feeling sorry for me. It's just that I know who I am and why I've acted this way. You don't. You see, this is all about one word, and that one word is, I'm sorry to say it, blackmail. I'm not who you might think. People do bad things. They do things they regret, and I am no exception. My blackmailer was, and still is, a pig. A miserable, nasty excuse for a man. Nobility would only be a curse word for the likes of him. And when I met him, I knew how wrong he was. And worst of all, I didn't change a thing. I had a life to lead, and I planned to lead it no matter what. I met Brian 4 years ago now, and about 2 months into our relationship, I lent him cash. It was only £500, and I could easily afford it. I barely noticed it was gone. You asked me if he requested it or if I ventured it, and I'd have to say that I ventured it. I didn't mind at all. He wanted something, I don't remember what it was now, but I was happy to oblige. So it went on, and before I'd had a chance to check the exact amounts, it had already got up to £10,000, and it kept going up and up. It was just gifts, you know. If I was being cynical, I'd say that I guess he could work out how much I earned and how lonely and desperate I was, and how I'd do almost anything not to be lonely anymore. He's right. I'm not lonely with Brian, and I love him to bits. But as time's gone on, I've realised that money can't buy love, though it can buy temporary silence. I started taking the cash from school funds. A bit here and a bit there. It's an expanding private school, after all, and we have bank accounts all over the place, as well as many wealthy benefactors in our old boys and girls. We have money you wouldn't believe, and I was the only one who knew about some of it. I made protective rules and employed people I knew wouldn't be too curious. I got the auditor drunk. And no, I'm not proud of that one, but I've got away with it all so far. I became quite adept at fabricating an invoice, or 50. But I don't know how much time I have, not now. Brian's talking about a big wedding, a new car, and so many other things. He needs his teeth doing so he looks good on the wedding photos. And he needs new clothes, of course. Well, I'm sure you know how it is with men. That's when he said that I need my teeth doing too, and while I'm at it, I should have liposuction, and of course he's right. And we need a break from it all. So I just took a little more, you know, for a short holiday. After all, I do put the hours in. It isn't as if I don't try. I work like a slave for this school and should be paid at least double my salary. It's heartbreaking to be taken advantage of. So here I am, sitting on a pile of worries with the image of Brian whirling round my head. Do I love him? Oh yes, I love every square centimetre of his body, his mind, his soul. He doesn't know where I get the money from, you see. He would be outraged. He spends and enjoys life, and he hasn't got a responsible bone in his entire body. Why shouldn't he trust me, the head of a school, to only spend what I earn? It's not Brian who is the problem, it's his brother, Ewan. He got wind of what was happening, you see, and he started taking money off me. If I don't give him what he wants, he'll tell friends and tell the school. He'll even tell Brian. But now the school know, I'm wondering. Ewan has his own secrets. Even if I was convicted of fraud and theft of huge amounts of money, would the police really ignore me if I told them that the brother of my beloved was guilty of murder? They'd question him. It would be all over the news front pages. But in the end, I'd be the one going to prison. But Ewan, well, he'd never be trusted again. As company director of the school's auditor, he should have worked out what was going on. Instead, he suspected but never told. And then that cute young woman who worked for him came along. The one with the dark brown ringlets and the unbelievably small capacity for champagne. The one I tricked, who disappeared when her boss found out what had been going on. She was the girl whose body just might turn up buried in Ewan's back garden. So blackmail has been the name of the game, and long may that continue. Mrs. Taylor and Mr. Tomlinson, two of my nearest and dearest colleagues, are close to discovering what I've done. I've done it all for Brian, of course, but they won't care about that. They'll only care about what is right for the school. So I'm going to take myself in hand. I'm going to knock on the door of Bernice Taylor, my deputy head and second in command. I'm going to invite her out for a drink. Unlike that cutesy little auditor, she is never going to come back.